to How to Get Lost. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. To start the new year on the right foot, I will be discussing my opinion on jazz. Some say that there are no mistakes in jazz, only things you didn't mean to do. Some say jazz is the mistake. Let's define jazz. It seems to me as though jazz is something reserved for the people who either are or exist in the realm and attitudes of 57-year-old men. This mindset is obviously not reserved for 57-year-olds, men, women, or otherwise, but it begs the question, why? One definition of jazz is why not? Another one is because. It's this balance that jazz represents between questions and answers that is somehow attractive, repulsive, and enjoyable all at once. But there are many layers of jazz, and for each layer there is a Yankee fan saying that this is the real deal, the truth. And for every one of them, there's a Mets fan saying the exact opposite. Continue like this across the world and you have a curious metaphor for friendly sports fanatics competitions emerging in the world of jazz. Not that jazz has anything to do with sports, it's just the structure of sports are generally similar to jazz. There are a set of rules, and players are expected to follow them, but there is no score. There is no empirical prediction of what will happen. That is what makes sports beautiful and jazz insufferable. I mean, that's what unites them. In sports, improvisation might be a calculation based on an opponent's behavior. In baseball, for example, there are many examples of players improvising actions to bewilder the opponent into making a mistake, or doing something they didn't mean to do. Like a pitcher throwing a slider in the dirt, then a fastball at the batter's nipples. The objective is to make the batter feel lost, and if they can't find the ball with the bat, the pitcher has succeeded. In jazz, the opponent is the music itself. It feels as though the players are always on the offensive, attacking the rules on the page with a sort of challenged defiance, nuanced and controlled, but very much not planned. Get lost playing jazz and you become the audience you seek, struck dumb with acoustic awe. But when jazz players make what fans of classical music would call a mistake, they have an opportunity to right their ever-capsizing songboats, and furthermore be applauded heavily for their efforts upon a safe disembarking at the end of the song. Jazz is a mindset. One can be jazzy, jazzed, and/or want to jazz. But to play jazz is something else entirely. The rules of jazz are simple. Stay in the key of the song you are playing and share the spotlight. If you play the bass, don't play patterns, play rhythms. If you are a trumpeter, play way too loud but only on the high notes. If you're a guitarist, band those strings, baby. If you are a pianist, play like you're a fairy running away from a rhinoceros. And here's the trick. Whatever you are playing, play the same thing over and over again until you do something you didn't mean to do, and run with it. Take it to church and pray for your mommy to rescue you because the world's riding on you now. That's jazz. But not all jazz is jazzy. I know it's contradictory, but it's true. Listen to too much in one go and it starts to slither into your subconscious. Next thing you know, you're going to the grocery store for milk and cereal and leaving with a bomb shelter supply of food. It'll be worth it, honey. I swear the earthquake is coming very soon. Jazz is not jazzy when it makes you think too much. But that's a problem it will never be truly rid of. Jazz is supposed to be about not thinking, but calculating. It's the job of the players to play it like they're the puppet, the puppeteer hiding in the wings in the form of haunting university professors who never made it big on their own. But when jazz is jazzy, it can be one of the most surreal experiences of your life. When jazz is jazzy, nothing matters anymore. Yankees fans take their hats off. Giants fans give a Dodgers fan a high five. Mariners fans, well, they just kind of smile naively and sway, and make left-leaning small talk with their husbands about the racial origins of jazz.
Look, honey, it's a white guy doing black people stuff.
That's the blues, dear. Black people might have invented improv, but this Jimmy guy really knows what's up too.
Well, yeah, but black people also invented rock and roll.
What? No. The Beatles did that. The Eagles, Led Zeppelin, Roy Clark, Elvis?
They copied the blacks, dear.
I'm Googling it. Jazz is not something to be quarreled over. It can cure hangovers and create hangovers, and lose every argument it's ever won. But it will always be a way for 57-year-olds to have fun and not look ridiculous doing it. All of this is well and good, but jazz is about getting lost, changing, and finding a way out in or around any idea you had going into it. That is the reason we are here. Jazz represents the willingness to change, the curiosity at the root of losing our way, and the solutions scraped together out of the wreckage of monotony. It represents the social world's ability to create something so metaphorically representative of itself that it gets lost in translation and fails at the very thing I believe it was trying to do: make us think. In retrospect, the definition of jazz doesn't really matter to the meaning of it, but thinking about jazz and its captivating talents, the balance that courses through its players, the chance, choice, and valiant chunder it creates, I can only come to realize its power as something metaphorical for the human life. It seems fitting, then, that the general population most concerned with jazz's vexing volumes is going through the crisis times. The sports car phase, the empty nesting, their sixth 9-year change, the perfect simile for the midlife question. What the fuck are we supposed to do now? The joke's on me, though. I apparently think about jazz quite a lot. I'm Tony Renzema. That was one way to get lost. Thank you for listening to How to Get Lost. If you have stories, or more stories, or poems, or stories, or things to say, you can email them to howtogetlostshow@gmail.com. This show was produced by me. Thank you for listening.